A Los Angeles landlord was finally able to get their property back after the so-called Tenant from Hell finally moved out of their place after more than 500 days. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting update to an article that I covered just a little while back about this so-called Tenant from Hell out in Los Angeles, California. So I tell you all the time, I wouldn't invest in Los Angeles, okay? They have too many tenant protections. They have too many laws, rules, and regulations that make it darn near impossible for anyone to even think about, operating a business, at least as a small landlord, okay? Now, if you've got a ton of money, and in this case, the property owners had to have had a ton of money because we're talking about a tenant who literally stole a mansion. Okay, stole a mansion from the property owner. So let me explain if you haven't heard of this case before. There was an Airbnb tenant who decided during the COVID-19 pandemic that they wanted to rent this mansion out on a 6-month, short-term rental. Okay, so they paid in advance for 6 months and then they refused to leave when that 6 months was up. Okay, refused to leave, and they were covered by the city of LA's just cause eviction protections. So all of a sudden, the property owners, they're put in a horrible position because they have a tenant who isn't paying any sort of rent. They have a multi-million-dollar property that has just huge expenses, and they're just stuck footing the bill for this person to live there for free. Now, absolute nightmare type of situation, something that would only be possible in a place like LA because everywhere else, they would have kicked that tenant to the curb a long time ago. But, like I said, these tenant protections are so strong and they look at all landlords as though we are somehow evil, and they take the tenant's word for it and don't even take into consideration that, hey, there are people out there who will lie, cheat, and steal in order to get something for free, okay? And that's the problem with a lot of these tenant protections. They don't ever even consider the fact that, hey, there might be someone here who is trying to abuse the system. And, if somebody comes in and they abuse the system like this, it can leave somebody, out hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, okay? So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, okay? So what do you think of this Airbnb guest who essentially stole a mansion in Los Angeles, okay? Now, I laugh, but, I do feel bad for the property owners in this situation. Okay, you're just trying to make a living off of your property and you're getting screwed over by a tenant who's nothing more than a squatter, in my opinion. Squatter, scam artist, etc. Criminal charges should be filed against this person for fraud and theft, and it's just not going to happen, okay? They'll probably, this is a civil issue and you need to just sue this person. No, this person is trespassing. This person is, breaking and entering, after the 6-month term of the short-term rental is up and this person is still in there, they are trespassing at that point. That's my opinion. That's not the way it works, but certainly my opinion. And like I said, landlord is out hundreds of thousands, if not more, okay? So anyway, let's get into this article, see what it says. This article is coming from Fox 11, Los Angeles.com, and it says, LA tenant from hell moves out of Airbnb rental in Brentwood after 500 plus days of not paying rent. There's a short video with this article. I'll go ahead and play that video for you right now.
Tenant from hell. 55-year-old Elizabeth Hirshhorn has moved out after 575 days. Hirshhorn first booked a 6-month stay at the landlord's rental property in September 2021, but when it came time to move out or repay, the woman refused to leave. She claimed she was allowed to stay under the city's COVID tenant protection ordinance.
All right, you saw the video. Let's get into the article. The woman dubbed as the tenant from hell is moving out. The news shared by the Airbnb landlord comes a month after the woman made headlines for refusing to leave the multi-million-dollar rental in Los Angeles' Brentwood neighborhood. In a previous report from Fox 11, the woman allegedly stayed at the Brentwood rental for more than 500 days without paying rent. According to the landlord, the woman's Airbnb stay ended in April of last year, but had refused to pay rent since. In a report published by the Los Angeles Times, the landlord explained the city of Los Angeles sided with her in this year-long battle. The landlord explained she was not required to pay rent because the city had never approved the unit for occupancy and that its shower was constructed without a permit. So you have a multi-million-dollar mansion, right? And it is not approved for occupancy according to Los Angeles, right? So the city sided with her and said, oh, well, you don't have to leave. This place isn't, certified for occupancy. Well, wouldn't logic say that, well, if this place isn't safe for occupancy, then you have to leave because it's not safe for you to be able to stay here? And the same issue with the shower. I mean, we're talking about a mansion here, so I truly doubt there's only one shower in the whole place. Okay, you can't tell me that there isn't a working shower within this house. But whatever, okay, the city of LA, they screwed this person over, and they're not using any sort of logic or common sense or anything whatsoever, and allowed this person to stay in this house for 500 plus days since April of last year, about a year and a half at this point. No rent. It's a multi-million-dollar mansion. I don't know how much the rent would be on a place like this. Guess maybe $20,000 or $25,000 a month. Okay, so you do the math and you realize that this landlord, not even counting any property damage that this tenant might have caused, right, is out hundreds of thousands of dollars, plus insurance costs and it's horrible. It's a horrible type of situation to be placed in. Because the woman stayed in the unit for 6 months, she qualified for Los Angeles City's Just Cause Ordinance, which requires a landlord to have a legal reason to evict her. If there is no legal reason to back the landlord, the property owner is required to pay for tenant's relocation. And that's probably what it really comes down to. They wanted the payoff. I believe in the other article, they said that this lady wanted $100,000 in order to move out of the place. $100,000, okay, 6 figures. After staying in the place for a year and a half for free, you want 6 figures on top of that. What a ridiculous joke. And I guess that's it. I mean, that's the whole story. I mean, I didn't really read this article too much beforehand, right? But the point of the matter is, right, that we end up with a landlord who's placed in a situation where you're in a city where you don't have the property rights that you initially thought you had. And, I admit the landlord should have been playing by the rules, should have made sure to have that certificate of occupancy, etc. But that's no reason for the city of Los Angeles to say, hey, this woman can stay here forever. I mean, that's so dumb. It's so dumb. So good that this landlord got this person out of there. I don't know. I don't know how much in total they're out. I'd love to see an update to this article going in the future. Just like, the landlord lost, X hundreds of thousands of dollars, just to give us an idea of just how much damage was done.